Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Financially Forever After a Love and Money podcast. We are your hosts, Lindsay and
Brett the Moneymaker Schunkweiler.
Here to give you some relationship tips as well as
Financial tips.
All day.
day.
This is why we work well together. So, what's going on in the world of Brett or Lindsay or both or family?
I was thinking.
What were you thinking? That's a dangerous path.
We recently went to a theme park. We'll just put it that way.
Yes.
Or what we would here classify
A
as
Midwest theme park.
Midwest theme park.
Mhm.
We were very underwhelmed with it. But it got me to thinking of the time that we went to Disney. And when we went to Disney...
Should we name drop like that? Or should we just say the big amusement place in Florida that has a mouse?
No one will ever guess it.
We're not advertising
That
for free on this
is
show.
irrelevant to this story, really. Other than the fact that there was not a bathroom in sight, right?
Oh, where are we going with this? You gonna throw me under the bus like that?
Well, I mean, we talked that you were,
Okay.
So what happened? Tell us the story,
Okay,
Linz.
hold on. So our kids were little, like this is October. So our daughter, our
Did we
middle
only have
daughter,
one? At that
no, we
time?
had two because our middle daughter was born in April. She would have only been 5-6 months old at the time. So we randomly decided to because the kids hadn't seen the beach. So we were like, let's go to Florida. It's direct flight. But we had no intention of going to Disney because we were staying in Daytona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then we drove from Daytona to Disney that morning. We're like, oh, let's take the kids. We're this close. Why not? And it's like hour and a half, 2-hour drive,
Sure,
something
I
of
don't
that nature. I don't know. I just remember it being a very long time. So we rented a minivan because you have two kids, a toddler
Oh, yeah, I
and a
remember it.
6-month-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just remember I drank a lot of coffee on the way from Daytona to the theme park. And mind you, I'm like postpartum too. So it's just like my body's still getting back 6 months out. That's not very long, right?
Yep.
So we get to the parking lot. And if you've ever been to Disney, rows and rows and rows of parking. They have characters designating where you're parked and because there's so many parking areas. So we get there and I'm like, it'll be fine. Let's just get there. I'll go to the bathroom before we head in. It's not a big deal. Well, we had never been to Disney. I had years ago. I couldn't remember that once you park, you have to get shuttled to the front where you have to get and then get shuttled to another. It's like a whole process. You couldn't just get there
25, 30-minute process.
Oh, at least.
Get you.
And
to
I was
where-
like, Brett, I am going to pee my pants. I will literally, I can't hold it. And I'm either going to have wet pants all day because I couldn't control myself, or we got to find a bathroom. There was no bathroom in sight. So do you remember my solution?
Oh, I remember very vividly the solution.
So we look at our middle daughter and I'm like, well, she has diapers on. I'll just use one of these, right?
Well, you didn't use the diaper she had on.
No.
You used
She
from
had
the diaper
lots
bag.
of diapers.
Lots
in
of
there.
diapers in the
I was
diaper
like,
bag.
it can hold a baby.
It soaks up, urine or
They're
water.
super absorbent.
Sure, it
It'll
says
be
super
fine.
absorbent.
So I
For a
felt,
5-month-old. not for a grown lady that has had lots of coffee.
I felt like, do you remember that scene in Dumb and Dumber where he's peeing in the beer bottle?
Oh,
And he's
yes.
keeps going in.
Give me
he's
another one. Give
and
me
he's
another
like,
one.
What are you, a camel? I was like that with these diapers because they were just filling up so fast. They were,
Give me
sweating.
another one. I'm like,
I was trying to stop in between and he
Like
shoved in
3
the
of them,
diaper and then,
like-
oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing. So these diapers were giant by the time it was all said and done. So that was super, it brought up post-traumatic stress for me because when I think it was a second grader. Do you remember? You really don't know what these are, but they're rompers were big in the 80s and 90s. They're kind of back now, but
rompers, yeah.
so it's like a one piece. And the way it was really hard to button. So you couldn't pull it down easily. And back then there was no snaps. Now they make them sometimes they have snaps where you can easily just take them apart. So I was like, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. I went on my own. I was trying to get it out of this thing. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, oh gosh, what do I do? And in my second grade brain, I'm like, it's fine, I'll hold it. Well, then I go back to my chair and I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, I can't hold it. And I don't know why I wasn't like, let's go to the nurse and have her help me. I just thought, I'll just pee right here. It'll be fine. And my crush at the time raised his hand. He's like, Miss whatever her name was, Lindsay has a puddle underneath her chair. So humiliating. My mom was working at the time, so my grandma had to come get me, change of clothes. Didn't take me home, mind you, so I had to be suffering all day. So I changed my clothes. She sprayed old lady perfume all over me. So I smelled like an old grandma the entire day. I peed my pants in class. So that brought up some sad memories for me. So thank you for that.
That makes me think of Happy Gilmore recently with
The new one?
Yeah, well, just because we watched it here recently, and like Billy Madison,
Yeah.
all the cool kids pee their pants.
Oh, yeah. I had no cool kid saying that at the time. I was so humiliated. Luckily, I switched schools like a couple years later, but that was super.
That's okay.
embarrassing.
I wouldn't tell anybody ever that you peed.
Oh,
the
yeah.
back of
Just
the vehicle
anyone
at
that's
Disney.
listening to
That's
this
fine.
right now. But yeah, thanks for that.
I think you told them.
Yeah, unwillingly. Well, we've had some interesting Disney stories.
That's
You were Frisky Minnie with you.
Oh yeah, Frisky Minnie.
I peed in my baby's diaper. So, we were such good parents too, because she was like 6 months. We had her in like the baby Bajorn thing where you wore her. And I went on like a lot of rides.
Oh, she was fine.
She's fine. Like I had to hold her head a couple times. I'm like, you're
Not like we went on.
let me on these
Not like we went on
rides.
roller
No,
coasters.
there were a couple that were like spinny, and I was
Oh,
like
it's
holding her
fine.
head. I'm like, I'm such a good mom. So they're Disney kids. I love it. Let's get into a little bit of our relationship stuff today.
Okay, what do you got?
I love it because I feel like people are starting to kind of write in and ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we talked about this before. We're not experts. I'm not a therapist. I'm a relationship expert, but we've been together a long time.
Yep.
I would say we're pretty knowledgeable with things that have worked for us anyway. We can give you what have worked for
Yeah,
us.
we've
what
gone
have-
through a lot, so I mean, the
Gone
thing
through a
is,
lot of
we
ups
can
and
give you some good
downs.
feedback.
Yeah, so we just have, we're happy to address some of these things. So this viewer, I'm not going to mention the names, but she wrote in and had said that she was a stay-at-home mom for years, and her youngest is finally going back to school. So she's debating, where she wants to go with her career, or she wants to go back to school. And she had mentioned that she is wanting to go back to school. So she had this conversation with her spouse, who's obviously the sole provider because she has been staying at home for years, but that she wanted to go back and get a new degree to go into a different field. And her spouse isn't really on board with this. So he obviously was used to having her at home, picking up the kids, taking them to school, having the meals ready. So they're having a little bit of a struggle within their relationship right now because he is used to a certain basically aspect of life, or how their routine is pretty down packed, but she's wanting to make a change. So we're going to talk today about evolving in a relationship, because I think this definitely falls into that category.
It kind of makes me think of military, like wives or
Yeah, a
potentially
little
a
bit.
husband. If someone goes away, you're like, hey, they come back, they got their norm established,
Yeah.
and now things have changed
Yeah.
again, and now you're going right back into it. So this could definitely be relevant for everybody in the military.
Yeah, and we had
community as
Joel
well.
a couple weeks ago talking about military, but yeah, that's a very good point.
Mhm.
I actually have a few friends that are military wives, and they said it was hard when their husbands came home because the wives were used to running the ship. They were used to like having it be done a certain way, and the husband gets home and he kind of steps in and they're like, whoa, hold the phone. You've been gone. We've been running and managing just fine. And yeah, you're right. It's kind of like you have to step back and say, okay, he's home. We got to figure out how we're going to manage this. So yeah, before we get into this, I just kind of want to go over and define what evolving in a relationship can look like. So the question you would need to ask yourself, is it a personal growth? Is it career advancement? In this case, I would say that falls into that category. Emotional maturity or spiritual awakening. So let's kind of break each of those topics down just a little bit farther. So as far as personal growth goes, developing new interests, values, or goals. So in this case, not quite obviously a new interest, but she's interested in pursuing a new career. So I think it would fall more in this personal growth. She's wanting to better herself in her education. She's been at home for years, and raising kids is no easy task. Trust me, I've done it. It's can be really hard. But yeah, pursuing education, a career, spiritual growth. So I think her question of what she's asking as far as evolving in a relationship would definitely fall in that personal growth category. The second one, relational growth, improving communication and conflict resolution. So I actually think that's a good category. That means that your communication has evolved through the years. And I think you and I have done that. In the past, we didn't always talk about things, breaking it down or how one person might feel. We still struggle with that. That's always something we're working on. But I feel like we definitely communicate more than when we were first dating or married.
And just understand each other more.
Yeah, we obviously.
That was each other's hot buttons. No, and like someone's getting worked up, like, okay, I'm just going to leave.
Yep.
And I will take the kids with me for a little while because they might be frustrating you as well. Let's get the heck out of there or something like
it's
that.
just, knowing each other's tells is definitely part of evolving and growth. Deepening intimacy and trust and learning to navigate life stages together. For example, parenting, aging, career shifts. And then the last one falls into the mutual adaptation, supporting each other's growth, even when it's uncomfortable, renegotiating roles, expectations, and boundaries, and staying curious about who your partner is becoming. So let's kind of talk about this listener's situation. What is your feedback on this?
Sounds like the last one you were just talking about.
The mutual adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, they both going to have to adapt.
Yeah, so renegotiate their roles.
Yeah, we have roles in our relationship, right?
Every couple does, I think. Yeah.
And they're like, hey, you have this department, I have this department. I'm going to stay out of that area. You stay out of my area. We're good. And then there might be some overlapping, like, hey, finances or something like that. You don't need to know everything about the finance. Obviously, I own a retirement company. I should know all that stuff, which I do. But you want to know some of the stuff. You want to know the pertinent stuff. You want to know, like, something happens to me, where to go. Yeah. You want to know where our assets are. Like, if there's a big investment or something like that, like, you need to be on board for that. So for this couple, it sounds like they have the roles and they got to figure out, all right, well, our roles are now changing, or my role is going to change, which is going to affect your role. And sounds like the husband's like, I'm not so happy about that. But, kind of as you said, that a mutual change needs to happen to have growth on her side, because, he had the growth in his work before. And if she wants to grow, that's perfectly fine. You just got to be on board and say, what can we do to help make this happen?
Yeah, it's a compromise situation. So maybe it comes down to, if it's, maybe she has to bring them to school in the morning. A lot of classes can be done online, or maybe you can do night classes. I actually know a friend who, she did daycare full time, full time. So she worked daycare. She has 5 kids, running them all over the place. But then she went back to nursing school and she was taking night classes. So I don't know when she actually ever slept, but
that's what my mom did. My mom did the same thing. She had a daycare and then did that for school.
So it can definitely be done. So maybe finding a compromise where it's like, okay, here's when my classes are. You might have to pick them up in the afternoons. I can take the morning shift, whatever it may be. But having that compromise and that open communication to say, we can make this work. You just have to be willing to bend and switch roles a little bit, like you mentioned. So definitely. So let's talk a little bit about some of the emotional distance versus growth. So growth can create distance if not shared. So I think that's kind of what they're experiencing right here, is she wants this growth. She's had years of being home with the kids, watching them grow and nurturing them. But now they're spreading their wings, or they're in school now. And she wants to do the same. She wants to go back and have some change. So one partner might feel left behind, insecure, or even resentful. So it didn't really talk about husband's perspective as far as if he's resentful or not, but it sounds like he's just struggling with the more of the day-to-day. You're used to your routine.
Yep, his routine is getting changed. The thing is, it doesn't affect one person. It affects multiple people. Because it affects Sam and, who's picking up the kids, who's dropping off the kids, different time. There's a lot that goes into that. So I think the biggest thing is communication.
And I can understand that in a way, because I'm a type A for sure. I like organization, structure, knowing what's happening. So yeah, maybe it's a little bit of fear on his part too, not knowing what the future is going to look like, because he's so used to how it has been all these years. So yeah, communication is crucial. We kind of talked about this. Obviously, you have to have those conversations with your person. It's very important. Growth doesn't have to be parallel. I thought this was interesting. People grow in different ways and at different times. The key is whether both partners are willing to support each other's paths. So what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You got to support each other, knowing that it's important to that other person. And why it might, honestly, might suck for you in the near term, because it's such a gigantic change from what they were used to doing. It's like, they made sacrifices, you made sacrifices, you chose to be with this person, you need to choose to have them want to be happy. And there might be a happy medium, like, all right, well, I've been used to this for 15 years and you've been used to that. I know you want to change it up. Doesn't mean I want to change it up, but can we gradually get into this? And then, first couple weeks, this happens, second couple weeks, and then you might not be able to do that. It's going like that might not be an option, but then you'll have to reevaluate, because it could be like, all right, well, what if the husband was coaching a bunch of sports for the kids on top of all this, and now he's got to pick them up, and now he's got to do all this other stuff. Or maybe the wife was, and now she can't do it. And they want the husband to do, some of those duties. Like, a lot of stuff has to be communicated and talked through, because this is a big change.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's always the option of getting a nanny or a babysitter or someone, a friend. Maybe just a friend. Maybe you're close enough with a family or a neighbor that maybe they can help out with the carpooling a bit. So there's always options. And then to go with that, I mean, it's like, yeah, she's going back to get this degree, but then he also has to be aware of, eventually down the road, she's going to have this degree, and then she's going to want a career. So that might, again, be another point where they have to discuss, like, we're both working full time now, so it's going to change again, and we have to have that conversation.
And it depends, too, if they have kids or don't have kids at the house still at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to think if the youngest is just starting kindergarten, they're going to be.
Yeah, you would think that would be the case. It's just, there's like, different people that are.
How long is your degree? Are you going back
there's
for a
different
doctorate?
people that have different stages as they're listening to this. I say, all right, well, the kids are up and out of the house by now. And maybe she wants it at that time.
Yeah, for sure. And lastly, when it becomes unsustainable, if one partner's evolution leads to value, goals, or lifestyles that no longer align, it may signal a natural end, and that's okay. We always talk about sticking it out rather than divorce if that's an option, but it might not always be. That, if you might have had the conversations, you might have met with a professional marriage counselor or therapist, whoever it may be, and one spouse might not be willing to bend. And at that point, you kind of need to reevaluate what's important. Do I want this for myself? And am I willing to make these sacrifices, or do we need to cut ties? So having those conversations, it's hard. It can be scary. I know for me, I was a stay-at-home mom for years, and not knowing once my youngest started school, like, what I really wanted to do. So I still don't really. I kind of dip and dabble in different things, and I think that's okay too. Finding out what really drives you and what your passion is. So there you go. Anything to add in the evolution of relationship?
No, I think you did a good job covering that.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you again for writing in. If you have other questions regarding relationship, or maybe you want to talk more about this topic and involving in your relationship, where can they ask those questions?
Go to the website financially4everafter.com. Ask a question, leave a comment. Just go on the page. It'll show it right in the front. And or you could ask for a 15-minute consultation with either myself or one of my team members to talk finances on there as well. Cool. On that page.
Yes. All right. Let's talk finances. What do you got for us today?
Right. So, a couple different articles that I went through, and one of them says, what are we arguing about? There's actually two of them, and I was thinking, what is the number one cause of arguments? What do you think?
Money.
Number one, money?
I would think money, yeah.
So these are for two different time frames. So one of them was actually money.
Okay.
And I say two different times. One was like 10 years ago. The other one's like last year on these articles here.
Okay.
So one said money, and the other one says
Like the more recent one?
no. The most recent one, actually, the older one said money. The most recent one says something else.
Something else. Is this for married couples or anybody? Married couples. Ooh.
It just says couples. It doesn't say married couples in particular. But
the amount of time you spend together?
Nope. Most couples in serious relationships in America argue at least occasionally and most often about tone of voice
Oh, no.
or attitude.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
So that's what one.
How convenient.
Why
for
are you laughing at that? I have no idea.
How convenient for you. You know what? I don't like your tone right now. I need you to change that.
Nah. Nah. So if you listen to our last podcast, you understand that. Nah. So it says, similar shares of people say they argue at least weekly or multiple times a month. Some say they never argue, but a lot of times it's about tone of voice or attitude. And that was one of the articles. The other article said, yeah, definitely money. It's, money is the most common thing that causes arguments, even more than children, chores, work, friends. But money causes more spats than it does.
They do say money is the root of all evil.
Yep. So, says most often couples disagree whether expenditures or necessities or luxuries is what is what? What is? Do we really need to buy this? Is this a necessity? Is
like
this
coffee? It is a necessity.
It's a necessity.
Our power went out today because we had a bad storm last night and my coffee machine wasn't working. And tell me, is it a necessity now that you saw how I was, my personality this morning? I think you now agree. Coffee is a necessity.
She is Angry Bear. Angry Bear. When she got her coffee much better. I am happy. Let's see here. Needs versus wants, that's the big thing. So that's 58% of those people said money arguments prompted differing opinions. Need versus wants, 49% argue about unexpected expenses, 32% about insufficient savings. So money on why people argue. So it says, all right, 4 tips to keep finances from driving a wedge between couples according to the National CPA Financial Literacy Commission. This is what their tips are. I'll tell you mine in a second. So this is prior to marriage on this one. So get full disclosure before marrying, moving in together, or mingling assets. Couples should fully disclose their finances as part of a joint financial planning process. Each person should routinely review credit card accounts, bank statements, credit reports, and keep all the data in the open. So do you think we did that prior to marriage?
Absolutely not. You knew I was in debt because I was in college. I had college debt.
Well, I went to college too. I was only a year older than you.
You sold books and you got rid of your college debt. You took on my college debt.
You're not wrong.
So we had that conversation.
It was pretty much like you're taking it on.
I think you also took my car payment on too. I think I had a car payment.
Yes, you did.
You're welcome. You went into this marriage with debt, with open eyes. I left nothing out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, get full disclosure. So, and being a financial advisor for 20 plus years, different couples do it differently. So I've had times that the husband does all his finances, the wife does all her finances, and whatever they make, they spend. Whatever they make, they spend. You spend the money for the house payment. I spend the money for electricity and bills and cable and other things of that nature. And they're perfectly fine setting it up that way. And that's fine if it works. And there's other couples like, nope, it all goes in the same pot, regardless who makes what, goes in the same pot. We're going to divide it. And it's all joint together, and retirement accounts are joint together. And both work. Both can work depending on your situation. So I just think you need to have that conversation ahead of time. Like, what works for you guys? What will be the best? Because it can work. Next.
So hold on, before you go on, would you recommend then, as a newly engaged couple, if they don't currently have a financial advisor, to meet with one before getting married and have those conversations?
100%.
Yeah,
so
that's something I wish we would have done too.
That's actually number 4, and I'll get to that in a second. But yes, 100%. So set a money date is the next one. Set time aside regularly, ideally once a week, to meet about family finances without other distractions. So this is, once again, according to the National CPA Financial Literacy Commission. I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody does that. Like, no one meets really once a week to say, hey, guess what? Let's talk finances.
Oh, yeah, like a budget meeting.
Let's have it's kind of like, who wants to do that?
No one.
Like, and I do finances I'm a financial advisor. I don't want to do that. No one wants to do that. You don't say, oh, it's a Saturday night, hon. Let's whip out our checkbooks and let's see how we're doing.
On the flip side, we do talk, like, we get our credit card statements monthly. So maybe it's a monthly thing because you give me the credit card statement. We go through it and say, what's on here? What can be changed? What can we get rid of?
Is there anything that, shouldn't be on here that is?
Yeah. So maybe a monthly kind of.
Yeah. I think monthly is perfectly fine. And it can be, for us, sometimes we'll do it, on a Sunday morning before we go to church. I'm like, hey, here's this statement. Look it over, see if it's good.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about anything briefly on that. I don't think it needs to be on a weekly basis. In the ideal world, sure, but most people don't have the free time, or at least if they do, they don't want to spend it on that.
Unless you're numbers people, you're both accountants, and you're like, yes, that might do it for them. That might get them in the mood.
To infinity and beyond.
They're like, oh, numbers.
With all their numbers. Yeah. Ooh. Excitement. Excitement's in the air. Next, divide and conquer. Split the duties of managing accounts and paying bills. Although one person in a relationship often takes the lead in these duties, this arrangement can lead to stress, tension, and confusion. One person pays bills and the other tracks money. For instance, a check and balance on the family finances is created. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that is not our case in any way. I used to pay the bills until I was like, would wait to the very last minute, and you would always wonder if it would be late, and then it stressed you out.
It happened.
I don't think I ever got late.
Oh, you did. That's why it switched over. You had one bill late, and that was the end of it.
We're in heaven, and we look back at this day. We always say that to each other. It's a petty argument. We're like, when we're in heaven, and we look back.
We're going to see who's right.
Like, that's what we're doing in heaven. Like, figuring out who was right and who was wrong.
The other things I think in heaven is like, oh, where did I leave this?
Oh, yeah.
Where did I leave my Hoopsamania shirt back from, like, when I was, 13? I love that shirt.
Sure, we'll just be chilling with God. Like, oh, I'm looking back in time to see where I left.
When I lost my sunglasses recently, like, where did I put them?
Oh, my gosh.
Where did they fall off?
Hilarious. But no, yeah, we definitely, in our defense, though, you're a financial advisor. Obviously, it would make sense for you to obviously handle that stuff.
Correct.
It would be silly not to.
Yes, you're 100% right.
But not everyone is. So would you recommend them splitting? I think it's your strengths too.
So here's the thing is, the tip number 4 is hire an advisor. It says a neutral third party can help reduce tensions over money by working with couples to establish financial goals, pay bills, monitor accounts, and notice any unusual spending patterns. So I think that's the easiest solution, is actually having a financial advisor help you out. And I say it's the easiest solution. That doesn't solve the problem of like, hey, you need to pay these bills, I need to pay. You need to jointly figure that out and jointly figure out, like, is it better for you to just deal with your monies and you with yours, and or does it all go in the same pot? I like to think it's typically easier to throw it all in the same pot because, you're married, working all together, but whatever works for you is the right way to do it. But the sooner you can get to the financial advisor, the better, in my opinion, because this is what they go to school for. This is what they're trained for. They have to pass licenses and tests for. It's like me trying to fix someone's vehicle. Ain't going to happen.
A big mistake.
That ain't going to happen. That wouldn't work out well.
Your daughter didn't even think you knew how to change a tire the other day. She was like, I could see Dad just saying, get someone professional to do this. Gosh. And I laughed because I'm like, how many times have we blown a tire in the trailer and Dad's been out there fixing it? She's like, what? I'm like,
it's because they've been in the car, like sleeping or reading or on an iPad or something of that nature. It's like they're just chilling.
He knows how to change a tire.
That's in this aspect. Sweating profusely.
It's such a kid thing to say, like, oh, you were out there?
I've even done it in like the garage multiple times in the car. Like, what the heck?
That's how oblivious they are to the world.
But going back to the finances is, get somebody that does it all the time. Get them to help you out regularly, and like, what am I not doing that I should be doing? Even if you do 8 out of 10 things well, like on those other 2 items, how can you be better? And they'll help you out. And
that's a good point too, because if they're newly married or, they have plans for a future, maybe they want to have kids, maybe they want to eventually buy a house. a financial advisor can get them set up in a way where maybe that can happen faster if they put their money, in the right spot. So that's good advice to be able to meet with someone. We talked about this in a couple previous episodes, but the sooner you can meet with an advisor, the better. You might not even be a couple. Maybe you're just newly out of college and you want to start planning. It's never too early to start.
I have tons of parents that refer their children to me. They're like, oh gosh, I wish I would have started sooner. And then we just get, kids all the time just from.
I mean, you even had a 14-year-old. He had a summer job and he met with you. And I would love the initiative. He started his own little side business this summer, and he wanted to know how to smartly invest his money and grow. And yeah, that was really cool. I thought that was really cool.
I bartered with him.
You bartered with him.
I bartered with him. So our daughter is, on a dance team, traveling dance team or whatnot, a competition team, and she needs some help on her turns. And this person did very, very good turns. And I'm like, hey, you want to help your finances? Tell you what, you spend a half hour working with her on her turns. I'll spend a half hour with you going through finance. How it worked out great.
Yeah.
And he loved it every second of it. So,
and now he's super excited and he's watching his money grow. And that's a cool thing for these young kids to actually take ownership of their future and pay attention to their finances. Because that stuff, we didn't really have that growing up. So I had my money, even in college, I was working as a waitress in a coffee can on top of my refrigerator. So probably could have done better things with my investments, but at the time, that's all I knew.
I remember one time down in the basement of my house in Grand Island that there was a really good rate of return one year in my dad's retirement account. Is like 401k plan. And I'm like, Dad, what if it did this rate of return every year moving forward? And we looked and oh my gosh, you're going to have millions of dollars. Now, granted, obviously the market doesn't return 20+% every year.
Every year, yeah.
But we thought if it did, what would that look like? And that would be awesome.
That would be.
So that's what we did. It was fun.
That's cool. Awesome. So again, one more time, if they have questions about finances, where are they going to ask those questions?
Go online, go to the website financiallyforeveraafter.com, ask a question, leave a comment. You can apply for a 15-minute consultation with either myself or one of my other two advisors on there. So feel free to reach out. And next time, we're going to talk some tax tips on investments you can get into to help save some tax money.
Oh, I like that.
Ooh.
That's a little teaser.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look for that for future episodes. And thanks today for joining us on another episode of Financially Forever After, a Love and Money podcast. Take care.
Securities offered through Great Point Capital, LLC, member SIPC. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Acadia Life Insurance. Schunkweiler Financial is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management, LLC, acronym AEWM, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Acadia Life Insurance are not subject to investment advisor requirements. AEWM and Acadia Life Insurance are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Schunkweiler Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Schunkweiler Financial.